各位朋友，大家好，我係趙作榮，歡迎大家收聽收看香港識識識 HKABC 我嘅頻道。呢個頻道嘅文字版，大家可以通過百度或者谷歌搜尋加國明星多媒體平台。平台嘅網址已經附上響呢個視頻嘅說明欄入邊。今日想同大家交流嘅話題係加國明星多媒體平台同埋香港識識識開始咗一個本來係同當下響中國定居嘅3個老外一齊，加上我咧曾經同大家預告過嘅4方會談節目㗎。後來由於有一位新嘅同事加入，呢個生力軍係李義婷，佢英文名字係 Jason。呢個年輕嘅香港女生當日就成為我哋4個男士萬綠叢中嘅一點紅啊！由於會談嘅時間較長，全程係英語對白，我因此咧就係將頭12分鐘左右嘅嗰一段咧先節錄落嚟，加上我自己用粵語解說，讓大家可以對呢個對談節目中嘅老外、我嘅同事同埋我有一個初步嘅認識，我哋點樣睇當下嘅中國。此外，由於同事李義婷 Kason 將會從佢自己嘅角度另外剪輯一個節目同大家介紹嘅，因此我喺呢度講一下呢，只係3位老外嘅事情，就先唔講阿 Kason 啦。第一位老外嘅名字係叫做 Jerry， 佢喺中山居住咗啱啱超過20年。佢嘅講話中話俾大家聽，中國吸引佢嘅地方係安全、生活費用非常經濟合理，以及呢中國人好客之道令佢深深受到感動。我曾經拍過一個專訪問阿 Jerry 呢個出生喺英國移民到澳洲，曾經喺澳洲出任咗10幾年國際保安專業嘅高管。多年之後佢就喺中國安家落戶。有興趣嘅朋友請翻看我過去嘅視頻。另一位老外佢英文名字叫做 Stan， 翻譯為中文就係斯坦。佢話俾大家聽，佢19歲開始拜詠春大師梁少雄師傅為師。梁師傅係李小龍嘅師兄，比李小龍更加早拜葉問為師。斯坦話俾大家聽，直到今日佢已經50多歲啦，佢就成為梁少雄師傅嘅入室弟子。佢同梁師傅情同父子，各位網友可以從佢同我嘅對談中可以感受到呢一位曾經係地質學家，後來轉職為一個律師嘅美國人。佢早年受到梁師傅傳授俾佢嘅功夫，以至到中國文化嘅熏陶。正如我自己了解梁師傅一樣，梁師傅傳授嘅除咗係功夫之外，仲有中國文化嘅素養。同阿 Jerry 一樣，我曾經訪問過阿斯坦。由於佢本人曾經響美國州政府入邊出任過政府律師，我當日訪問佢嘅內容就集中響佢點樣睇阿特別離譜先生上場之後攬炒公務員嘅睇法。同樣有興趣嘅朋友可以翻看我過去響呢一方面嘅視頻。嗱，排名不分先後啦。第3個老外呢，就叫做 Fernal， 佢響中國居住咗25年，目前就響東莞定居。會談中佢介紹自己出生響南美洲嘅哥倫比亞，佢曾經喺美國同埋其他國家工作過，佢熟悉英文、西班牙文同埋法文。佢當年嚟中國嘅原因係尋找一個對自己有挑戰嘅工作，令佢印象深刻嘅係中國嘅治安。當佢第一次踏入中國嘅國土，坐的士前往預訂嘅酒店下車嘅時候，又竟然遺忘咗自己攜帶嘅筆記本電腦，直至到佢走到去酒店前台先記起，原來自己疏忽忘記咗。但係正係唔知點好嘅時候呢，的士司機已經將佢嘅筆記本電腦帶嚟俾佢，因為佢擰轉身嘅時候呢，就睇到呢個司機從酒店嘅大門走入嚟，將呢個電腦交俾佢。對佢呢個嚟自治安不整嘅哥倫比亞嘅老外嚟講，馬上刷新佢對中國嗰種不應該有嘅先入為主嘅壞印象。因為西方媒體對中國嘅抹黑，不但響佢嘅腦海中曾經深深咁樣刻喺度，但響佢眼前睇到呢個的士司機以至到佢沿途睇到嘅事情，令到佢一掃而空嗰種對中國嘅壞印象。 嗱，而家已經超過1/4世紀，佢喺中國居住咗嘅經歷，讓佢充分地認為中國係一個生活環境安全、舒適，同埋中國速度以至做事情嘅高瞻遠矚，係令到佢激切讚賞嘅。嗱，喺我附上嘅12多分鐘嘅會談中嘅最後幾分鐘，大家可以聽到佢點樣解說15年前東莞市中心到高速公路每一邊有成6條，總共12條線。當時佢就諗啦，點解需要建咁大嘅高速公路啊？其後我哋睇到華為啱啱就喺呢一個咁樣嘅位置，交通方面嘅地方紮根。嗱，有興趣嘅朋友請仔細聽一下原汁原味嘅 Bernal 嘅介紹，亦都期待大家繼續幫我哋廣傳呢個頻道。而附上嘅12多分鐘嘅視頻入邊係中英文嘅字幕嘅，請大家繼續幫我哋廣傳。多謝你哋，拜拜。
Hi everyone, good afternoon. I'm Thomas, and I'm very glad to have you guys joining us and to meet with my new colleague, Kaysen. Kaysen, just say hello to everyone.
Hello everyone. I'm a graduate from UK Bowen University, and I'm here to help with the interview and discussion today.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah. And we have Jerry just next to Kaysen.
Yeah.
And we have Stan next to Jerry. And this young man is Bernal. When I say he's young, he's really young compared with my age. Today we are here to discuss something. These people, they all come from overseas, and now they call China home. And how and why they would like to stay here for that long, right? So maybe Jerry, you start.
Thanks, Thomas. I came here with a view to staying for just a few months, but that was over 20 years ago now. And I think part of the reason, obviously, is now I'm married. I live in China with my wife. But the fact is, there's a lot more reasons. I stayed in China, and that's how I met my wife. But the main reason, I think, is the safety, the cost of living, and the friendliness of the place. So if I'm looking for 3 different reasons, those are the 3 that I would give, and I'll go into more detail about them later on.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jerry. And Kaysen, would you have any comment on that?
Yeah, I think they're all good points. And today I'm going to talk about maybe it's the job opportunities in China, and also maybe I'll talk a bit also about the cost of living. I think it's a really big point. I stay in China. And also the stability of policies. Yeah. And you?
My name is Stan Warden. When I was 19 years old, I grew up in Hampton, Virginia. It was near Virginia Beach, Virginia. And Sifu Duncan Liang, Shihong Liang, was a Kung Fu master there teaching Kung Fu in Virginia Beach. And I started taking classes from him then. And he was actually there teaching the American Armed Forces, Special Forces. And so I moved away from there. It was like a 9-year period, and just by the grace of God ran into one of those students, Doc Savage, and I was training with him for like 30 years. And then about 8 years ago, I wanted to just come and thank Sifu for so many lessons he taught me, not just about Kung Fu, but about life and just so many things. And then so I ran into him in July of 2023, and we just became close. We're talking about so many things, the old days and the new days and things. And he invited me to come to Zhuhai, and that was about 1.5 years. And I've lived here ever since. It's just been a wonderful, amazing place. And I really enjoy it here. I hope to stay as long as possible.
So when you say as long as possible, how long will it be?
Well, I have 8.5 more years left on my visa. So you never know what the future holds, you know. But it's just been an amazing life for me here, and I'm very happy. Sifu is he's like my father, and the Kung Fu school has been instant family. And it's just a life I never imagined I'd be living. The safety, the convenience, the beauty. I was a geologist before. I'm a practicing lawyer now, but I was a geologist before, and just the geology alone of China is just incredible. I can't get enough of it.
Yes, when Kaysen and I were on our way to here, I talk about you with Kaysen. I just say, wow, this young American, when I say young, it's compared with
I appreciate
my age. But what we have to say is, how come an American will respect a Chinese old man? Right? It's older than me, right? The fact is, how come you would respect him like as if he were your father?
Well, he was, well, I mean, he's Sifu, so that's already a certain level of status, but there's so much more than that. I mean, he was just, he's helped so many people around the world. I mean, he's actually getting a Lifetime Achievement Award in Guangzhou in May for all the things that he's done with his life. He's helped so many people. And when I was, when I'm 19 years old, I mean, I was such a lost person. I was playing college football then, and I had no idea what life was about. But there were so many lessons, like always have goals, always be kind, always have something to look forward to. Don't waste your life. And those things stuck with me for all of my life, basically. And that's why I wanted to get back to China, just to see him, just to meet him and thank him, for so much he's done in my life. So, but he's just, he feels like my father. I'm just very close to him. He's family to me.
Yeah. No, in Chinese character, the word 师傅, Xi means mentor. Fu means father or respect the elderly. So, Kaysen, would you mind to explain to us how in Hong Kong, because you come from Hong Kong, right? You were born there. So, how in your mind a Sifu would look like?
It always, I think maybe in many Hong Kong movies or something, yeah, often the Sifu looks like in very intelligent elderly.
Yeah, because Stan Sifu, in fact, is what we call the elder disciple of the Grandmaster, and also senior to Bruce Lee, the Chinese Kung Fu master. So in that extent, you can imagine why Stan being so respectful to his Sifu. And to me, Sifu, I know him very well, actually, for him, and also for my friend around me. He's a highly respected person, very down-to-earth teaching master in terms of, he say, I'm not teaching people how to fight. I'm teaching people how to understand Chinese culture. That's important. So on that count, maybe I move over to Bernal. And I know that you live in Dongguan as well.
Yeah.
So maybe I pass the ball on to you and you talk about why you stay in China.
Well, I first came to China kind of looking for a challenge in my career. I'm a language teacher. I teach English, Spanish, and French. But I've been working up until 2001 in places where I always understood my students. I worked in San Diego, I worked in Mexico, worked in Colombia, and I was looking at coming to Asia. I found tons of opportunities here in China, and I decided to come and work at a university. I came with a plan, but it's called normally the TT, which is teach and travel. So just come, teach, and go somewhere else. But as soon as I landed, I was just slapped in the face with so many things that shook me. The first one was seeing how well developed China was. Completely different from what I'd been told and what I'd expected, what I knew from whatever sources of information I had back in Colombia. Most of them Western information, of course. So getting off a plane and starting to see how developed it was, how organized it was, and perhaps along the lines of what you were saying, one of the main things is how safe China is. On my ride from the airport to my hotel, I brought my computer where I had all my research on my documents because I was going to work at a university here in China. And for whatever reason, just being an idiot or whatever, I left my computer in a taxi. And I walked into my hotel, and as I was checking in, I realized that I lost my computer. I'm like, Jesus, I left my computer in a taxi. And I'm turning around to see what can I do, and I see the taxi driver walking with my laptop saying whatever he was saying in Chinese. Oh, you left this, you silly man. And I'm like, instantly, it was like, this would never happen in my country. this would be the last I hear or see of my computer had it been in my country. That was something that stayed with me being here 25 years. So I'm still talking about it because it was one of those first things. So safety is the first thing that I would like to mention when I consider the reasons for staying here, from being here. After that, I would say the vision of the country. When you come from a country where we have these political parties that are always fighting to get in power, right? It feels, I don't know, you probably relate to this, like a tug of war. We win. No, we want to get back in power, so we're going to obstruct everything you propose. Okay, now we win. Okay, now we're going to do this. So it's this tug of war that leaves development and the betterment of people in the dust. It just goes nowhere. But you get to China, and you have this democratic model that feels more like a dragon boat. As in, everybody's pushing in the same direction. No matter where your ideas come, what criticism you have, what thoughts you have about how to do something, it all gets discussed, but we're all pushing in the same direction. That creates China's speed. That creates the amount of development and improvement for the living standards and conditions of people that you will never find in other countries, that you will not find in my country specifically. So that vision, that idea, and so many stories to share about vision, so I don't want to take all your time, but I'll just tell you one thing. When I first got to Dongguan,
Right.
Dongguan in Cantonese.
Yes, that's right.
When I got to Dongguan, they had already built a 12-lane freeway from the center of Dongguan all the way to an area called Shongshan Lake. And I remember riding my motorcycle in that area and talking to my good friend who used to work in government. He's already retired. I said, like, what are you doing? There's absolutely nothing over there. This is a 16-kilometer freeway. And I'm like, it's such a waste of money. I'm like, no, that's the future. And I'm like, what are you talking about, the future? Like, when you tell a Westerner that you've already built this freeway for something that's going to happen 15 years down the road, you're like, that's where Huawei is today. That was Huawei is today, and all the satellite and all the different sources and all the different suppliers and all. You cannot place a needle. It's so packed with people. So it went from being nothing to being the essence of the city, just because of the vision, just because they have this ability to do this. We go 4 years in a row in our countries. The stupidity of that is beyond belief. The third thing is values. And I'll probably talk a little bit more about that, but talking about societies where we have reached levels of degeneracy that are unbearable, I appreciate a place where values still matter quite a lot.
Well, in that case, that's a very good description about modern China and Huawei in Dongguan. Thank you so much for describing your experience
My
in
pleasure.
China.